So I want to start it off with the first time I was ever actually here, which is funny because that was when I met you.
Yep.
We realized we had some mutual friends and things. But you had an awesome story, so much so that I have probably the worst memory of more people than you probably know. My wife makes fun of me constantly. But I remember the story because it's such a unique story, right? Not many people drop out of high school.
For sure.
Period. And even fewer, I would say a very, very small percentage of those people ever do anything with their lives.
Correct.
That dropped out of high school. Yep. So how the hell do you go from, being born to dropping out of high school and pursuing all this stuff?
Yeah, so for me, I dropped out of high school originally predominantly because I, A, hated school like anyone else that dropped out of high school, and B, I wanted to play professional golf or go and work for myself or my dad. So I pursued professional golf. I was solid, but when I was about 17, I realized, shit,
golf is hard.
Golf is hard, and you know what? There's a lot of people in this world that are a shitload better than me. And so I stopped that, and I was in the Sarasota area anyways. I was looking in Orlando, Tampa. I really didn't care too much about doing anything in Sarasota. And my dad said to me, he said, how about you stop complaining about why Sarasota's boring and actually do something to make it good?
Like any good father would do, right?
Yeah, he basically said, grow a pair. And
what timeline are we talking?
This was back in early 2019. So I reached out to a few different people in the city, realtors, developers, so on and so forth. And I really, in the beginning, had no intentions of coming to UTC. My view is, it's a mall area. It's good for corporate tenants, and that's about it. But after a little while, I realized, hey, I maybe can do something here, especially with the Lakewood Ranch area booming like it was, especially pre-COVID. And yeah, that kind of came to light. It was originally supposed to be only a restaurant, hence why it's Georgie Garden Cafe on that side, which is about to be rebranded. And then about 2 months into COVID, the actual tenant on this side dropped out, and I said to my dad, well, no one has a bar and nightclub. Let's bring in a bar and nightclub.
And even fewer people have a bar and nightclub in this area. So
correct.
That's great.
Yeah.
I don't want to I want to talk about the vision of Bar George and how you brought a different concept to the area, of course, but I want to stick on that, younger days, because I mean, again, that decision to drop out of high school is huge. But for you, it just wasn't, like, the path wasn't there.
Correct.
So that is always, and understand, when I'm saying he dropped out of high school, I'm saying that it's like the coolest thing you could have done to still be successful. So what was it you just knew, hey, there's no way I'm doing anything but either working for myself or playing golf, that basically made you?
What grade were you in when you decided? 10th grade.
Sophomore.
And at that time, you thought you had some promise as a golfer. Is that correct?
For sure.
I mean, correct.
Yeah, for sure.
So that was the perceived notion.
It was the perceived notion, but it was also the fact that I knew that I probably was not going to finish high school otherwise, because it had nothing to do with, substance abuse or anything like that. It was more so that, look, I don't have any want to sit here and do this BS.
How common is it for people to drop out of high school to pursue golf? Because I know with tennis and other sports, sometimes it's quite common. Hockey, even,
It makes for a good story for your parents as well.
In today's world, probably not common. Most people are going the college route just because it's a lot more accessible with tournaments and sponsors, so on and so forth. I was lucky enough I didn't really need any sponsorships. My old man had my back on that. But, it's uncommon. Right now, it's very uncommon. And the path for me going into this was simple. It was, look, high school ain't going to do it. Used to think I was good at golf until I played with some legit people. Let's move into this.
Cool.
What is good at golf? Just if you're like, what is
in terms of
scratch
professionally?
Golf? You're a
scratch golfer, you're going to get crushed.
No, of course. But at 16 or I guess 15 when you would have dropped out, scratch golfer,
I was a bit better
plus
than
handicap.
Yeah.
So in the car, I mean, it was possible.
For sure. I mean, if I grew in the right way in terms of my game, yeah, for sure. But for me, it was I peaked out earlier. Early bloomer.
I don't think Felipe or Trey play a whole lot of golf, and I'm a avid golfer, not a good golfer.
Brad, you would be wrong. I once played quite a bit of golf.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I used to caddy at a course in Long Island near where I grew up.
There we go.
So
we got to get it.
Not that I'm very good.
We should have done this on the golf course, guys. But at 15, playing golf as a plus handicap. What did that look like for you? What was the grind like? Because I know what it's like, for an amateur golfer, and it's an actual absolute grind.
Yeah. So when I was playing, especially when I wasn't playing in tournament weeks, my weekly schedule would look like I'd wake up at 5 a.m. My dad hired me a full-time golf coach, personal trainer, basically borderline male nanny of sorts. And it's like, you are going to do what he tells you to go and do. So it would be 5 a.m. He'd come to my house. He'd wake me up. He would take me to the gym.
Don't need an alarm clock that way.
Right?
That's
No,
nice.
it didn't need an alarm clock. He was the human alarm clock.
Were you living in Sarasota?
No, I was living in Orlando.
Okay, so you weren't part of IMG or anything like that?
So
Okay.
my dad moved me to Orlando as well. So I had that. Then after that, we'd eat. We'd go practice from 7:30 till 11 a.m. We'd go play 9 holes from 11 to 12:30. Eat lunch, go play again, go practice again until it got dark.
I'm pretty sure I could manage that. I think I could manage that.
Yeah, it was a tough lifestyle.
So what's it like golfing now? I mean, you just golf for fun?
Yeah, I mess
still have
around
fun
a
with it?
little bit with people like yourself or like Trey, avid golfers. Try not to take too much of their money. And
Hardly even a double-digit handicap, so I'm pretty good, I would say.
Here we go.
I like to play to my handicap too. I don't want it to be single digits. I'd rather have that cushion for guys like you who are sandbagging.
Yeah, I'm like an 8 handicap as well, so I think it would be good.
Right.